It's ugly sweater season, and join me today in making some not-so-ugly sugar cookie sweaters. Hi, I'm Leslie with Leslie's Cookies and Treats, and if you love decorating sugar cookies or you want to learn how, you're in the right place. Let's decorate together. So would you wear this sweater? I would wear this sweater. And this video kicks off a whole series of ugly Christmas sweaters, so you want to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss a single one. And if you want to make this along with me, all the supplies are listed in the description. So I'm starting out by outlining the center part of the sweater. I'm just using a green royal icing in about a 15-second consistency to outline the center, and then I'll go ahead and flood that in. I use the same icing for flooding as I do for outlining. And I'll just flood this in, and then I realized that I went all the way to the bottom of the sweater, but I want to leave room for a cuff at the bottom, so I scraped that off. And I'll just go ahead and put in a new bottom here and then finish flooding it in. And then as always, I'll use my scribe to settle this icing out and get it out to the corners, smoothing it all down. And then I set it aside to dry for about 15 to 20 minutes before grabbing my red royal icing, also in a 15-second consistency, and outlining and flooding in the sleeves. Now you could have put a squiggle of icing down the center of each sleeve so that you don't get a crater, but I'm just going to flood it in with a generous amount of icing. Because my icing is thicker, I don't really need to worry about it overflowing the edges. And once I get it all flooded in, I'll go ahead and use my scribe to settle the icing down, being sure to pay attention to any air bubbles so that I can pop those so I don't get a crater in this area. And even if it doesn't look like it needs to be settled down with your scribe, go ahead and do it, because in skinny areas like this, there might be an air bubble lurking underneath. And then I outlined and flooded in the top of the shirt because it's not going to touch the red and the green is already set up. I'm using my white icing in a 15-second consistency, and I actually realized that I did not do my outline very well and it's going off the edge of the cookie, so I'm just going to scrape that away and then grab my scribe and move the icing out to the edge and smooth it all out and settle it down. And then I'll set this cookie aside to dry for another 15 to 20 minutes. Now that the red icing is set up, I'm just going to make little cuffs here at the bottom of the sleeves, and then also a cuff at the bottom of the sweater, using my same white icing. And once again, I'll use my scribe to settle this icing out, even if it doesn't look like it needs it. Just getting the icing all the way down to the cookie, and I went over the edge a little bit here where I didn't want it, so I grabbed my paintbrush and just wiped that extra icing away, before going back to smoothing out the cuffs of the sleeves. I let that dry for about 20 minutes, and then I came back in with my white royal icing again. This time I'm using a detail consistency, about 25 seconds. I'm just going to touch down, lift up, and then drag a little line across, releasing pressure at the other end. And if you get your line where you don't want it to, just grab a dampened paintbrush where you've wiped all of the water off, and either wipe away or push down the tops of each one of those lines, and at the bottom if you need to. And continue on until you have ribbed lines across all of the cuffs of the shirt and the top of the turtleneck. This is a great way to practice piping little lines. You want to touch down, lift up your piping bag, and then touch down again at the other end. And if your line breaks like mine did here, don't worry about it. Just go back in and touch down again and continue your line. And mine just kept breaking for whatever reason. There might be an air bubble there. So I'm just going to use my scribe to fix the line because I have more than enough icing on the cookie. And then just finish up with your lines, and once again, grab your paintbrush if you need to smooth any icing down or even out your lines at the bottom. And we're just about done. I made Rudolph royal icing transfers, and I'll leave a link for a video where you can learn how to do that. And I'm just going to put that here in the center of this cookie to finish it off. So I'm grabbing my royal icing transfer. I'll just put a little squiggle of green royal icing on the back. I'm using green because if any squeezes out from under the royal icing transfer, it will match the center of the sweater and you won't see it. And I'll just place that down. If any icing does come out, you can grab a dampened paintbrush and just wipe it away. And then this cookie is done. I think it's the most adorable, ugly little sweater you've ever seen. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if you would wear this sweater. And then be sure you hit that subscribe button so that you can learn how to make all of these royal icing transfers, and then we'll decorate all of these not so ugly Christmas sweaters together. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate your support, and I will see you in the next one. Happy holidays. Bye for now.